How are you doing, math learners? This is your free access math teacher Ash, and welcome to ML with Sir Ash. For today's lesson, we're going to discuss the common ratio, the nth term, and the nth term rule of a geometric sequence. So before anything else, hit the subscribe button and notification bell for you to be updated of the school clear math videos just like this. Hello math learners! Welcome to another session here in Math Learning with Sir Ash. Today, we're going to discuss the most essential learning competency-based lesson for Quarter 1, Week 4 of the Grade 10 Mathematics. And this is all about the nth term, the common ratio, and the nth term rule of a geometric sequence. So, let's start. Now, remember that the geometric sequence is a sequence in which it follows a common ratio between the terms. That means that if you compare the two terms, there is a common ratio, meaning there is a factor that's being used to obtain the next term. Now, the geometric sequence has the formula a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r to the power of n minus 1, where a sub n is the value of a specific term. Commonly, this is the last term. A sub 1 is the first term. R is the common ratio, and n minus 1 or n is the position of that last term. Okay, remember that there are three objectives for this session. Number 1 is to know the common ratio of a given geometric sequence. Number 2, to determine the nth term of a geometric sequence. And number 3 is to know the nth term rule of a geometric sequence. So, let's start. Okay, math learners, we have here the given exercises that we need to consider for us to achieve the first objective. Okay, find the missing terms. We have here the geometric sequences. So, for number 1, we have 4, 12, 36, blank, and blank. For number 2, we have 5, blank, 80, 320, blank, blank. For number 3, we have blank, 6, 12, 24, blank, blank. Okay, now, for most of the students or for most teachers, they always teach the formula. Somehow, if you're a student who just need to get the missing terms of these given exercises, what you need to do is to ask yourself, what happened to the first term, why it became the second term? What happened to the second term, why it became to the third term? And so on and so forth. Now, math learners, I always teach to my students that there are a lot of ways to find the given answers. You can use the formula, and even you can use your common sense. Now, I always teach that what is better and faster is the best way to do. Okay, now, we have here the given sequences. We all know that these are all geometric sequences. Now, as we go to number 1, we have 4, 12, 36. Now, since we are talking about geometric sequences, you will be considering the times and the divide of a certain factor in order to achieve the next term. What must be multiplied to 4, why it became 12? Very good. That is multiplied by 3. What happens to 12? Why it became 36? Okay, it's again multiplied by 3. Therefore, in this scenario, you already know that what you will do is to follow the pattern times 3. So, 36 times 3 in order to get the next term. And then the next term times 3 in order to get the next term. Okay, so we have 36 times 3. That is 18, carry 1, 9, 10. That is 108. Easy, right? Now, let us multiply again 3 in order for us to get the next term. We have 3 times 8, that is 24. Because 3 times 0, we don't have any, 0. 3 times 1, that is 3. So, the final answer is 324. Therefore, for number 1, the missing factors are 108 and 324. Now, let us go to the second example. 5, blank, 80, 320, blank, blank. Now, it may be concerning for you that you don't know the second term. Now, the technique here is very simple. If you can find two numbers or two consecutive terms that are given, then you can use that pair to know the common ratio. Now, we have here 80 and 320. Now, this may be very big for you, but you can do division for this one to get the common ratio. 320 divided by 80. This is just the same as 12 divided by 4, that's 3. 36 divided by 12, that's 3. 108 divided by 36, that is 3. Okay, so we use that one, 320 divided by 80, and that is 4. Why? Because 80 times 4 is 320. Now, if that's the case, let's try 4 here, and let's also try 4 here. Same goes here and here. Now, let us try. 5 times 4, that is 20. 20 times 4, that is 80. Correct. Alright. 80 times 4, that's 320. 320 times 4, that is 1,280. Okay? And then, 1,280 times 4, that is 0. 4 times 8, that is 32. 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. Carry 1, 4. And that is 5,100. So you have the answers for your missing terms. Easy, right? Now, let us go to the third example. We have blank, 6, 12, 24, blank, blank. Okay, we should get the quotient of the two pairs. Okay, so 12 divided by 6, that is, very good, 2. Now, let's try here. 24 divided by 12, that is 2. So, therefore, let's consider that the pattern is 2. The common ratio is 2. So, 24 times 2, that is 48. 48 times 2, that is 96. Now, if we have here, since we are going backwards, so this is 12 divided by 2, that is 6. 6 divided by 2, and that is 3. Now, let us check. 3 times 2, 6. 6 times 2, 12. 12 times 2, 24. 24 times 2, 48. 48 times 2, 96. So we just answered how to get the common ratio and how to get the missing terms of a given geometric sequence. Now let's have more examples. Okay, math learners, we have here 2 more examples for find the missing terms. The given are 64, 16, blank, blank, 1/4. The other one is 9x squared, blank, 9x6 to the power of 6, 9x to the power of 8, blank. Okay, now, let's check first here. 64, 16, blank, blank, 1/4. As you can see, this is going down, right? Okay, so therefore, if it is going down, technically speaking, there is a fraction that is being multiplied. Why? Because if you multiply it with a whole number, this will go bigger, right? Okay, but it goes smaller. So how do we get this? Remember that in getting the common ratio, what you will do is you divide the two terms. But the numerator or the dividend will be the latest term, while your divisor will be the previous term. Okay, so we have here the first and the second, right? So the second will be 16 divided by 64. Now, can we divide 16 by 64? Technically, not. But we can have its lowest term. What is the lowest term? You divide the whole equation by 16. So, 16 divided by 16, that is 1. 64 divided by 16, that is 4. Therefore, what was being multiplied here is 1/4. 64 times 1, 64, divided by 4, that is 16. Now, if we use that one here, 1/4, so that means 16 times 1, 16, divided by 4, and that is 4. We use again the same common ratio. 4 times 1, that is 4. 4 divided by 4, that is 1. 1 times 1/4. So 1 times 1/4 is 1/4. Then we have answered our missing terms. Now let us have here. We have here 9x squared blank, 9x6, 9x8. As you can see, both are 9, right? So therefore, you have the idea that there is a 9 in this answer because it doesn't change. But how about the variable x squared, x6, x8, Okay, so there is a pattern here, right? What is being multiplied is x squared. Because x6 times x squared, that is x8. By just following the same common ratio, x squared, this will become x to the fourth. By multiplying again x squared, this will become 9x to the 6. And here, by just multiplying x squared, this will become 9x to the 10th power. Easy, right? Now, let us go to another example. Okay, math learners, we have here an example of how to get the common ratio if the first term and the third term is given. Okay, so what you will do here is very simple, my dear math learners. First thing you should do is you will consider the formula. Okay? So that is a sub 1 r to the power of n minus 1. Okay, since we are talking about 3 terms, our n will be 3 minus 1. What is asked here is the value of our ratio, so that is unknown. Our first term is negative 2, so that is negative 2. And the given of our a sub n, which is the last term, that is negative 32. Okay? So now, what you will do here is, you simplify. That is 3 minus 1, that is 2. And then you divide both sides by negative 2. Why negative 2? Because we need to have an r. Okay? Meaning, we need to isolate r. So, we should eliminate the negative 2 here so that we can have r squared. Okay? So, cancel, that is r squared. Negative, negative, that is positive. 32 divided by 2, that is 16. Okay? So, how do we get the squared here? Okay? Remember that the opposite of squared is square root. So, you square root both sides of the equation. So, that will be cancelled, leaving you r. And your value is 4. Because 4 times 4, that is 16. So, therefore, the value of your ratio is 4. Easy, right? And now, let us go to the final example. Okay, math learners, we are here to our final example. We have determined the n-term rule of the geometric sequence. Now, when we say n-term rule, that means what is the formula of the given sequence that follows that considered geometric sequence. Okay, so we all know that the formula is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 r to the power of n minus 1. Math learners, remember this. In order to get the nth rule, what you need is to have the first term and the common ratio. That's it. No more, no less. Okay, so since this is a sub n, okay, you copy that one. Our first term is 18. Okay, 18. Our r here is still unknown. But remember, you can get the r by considering the quotient of your second and your first. So that is 6 over 18. And since this cannot be divided, you'll just get the lowest term. And that is 1/3. So therefore, this is 1/3 n minus 1. Okay? So this will now be your formula. But if you still want to simplify this, there is still a way. So that is a sub n is equal to 18 times 1/3 n over 1/3. Okay, now if you want to ask me, Sir Ash, how did this happen? Now, this is how you do it if you apply the law of exponent, specifically the quotient rule. Okay, so by doing so, this will become an. So 18 divided by 1/3, that is 18 divided by 1/3. Remember the rule in dividing fractions. This will become times 3 over 1. And the answer is 4. And that is 254. Okay, so we have 54 times 1/3 n. And that will be your final answer. Easy, right? Now, this is the time that I will challenge you whether you have understood our topic, and here it is. lessons.